You probably recall the first of the 46 new Stadler-built Class 555 trains for the Tyne and Wear Metro was delivered to the depot last February. This was later than the initial planned delivery of autumn 2022, which was blamed on a combination of the COVID pandemic and issues with global supply chains. But once that first train arrived, the word from the operator was that they intended to have the first 555 in full passenger service by the end of 2023. However, when the autumn came around, it was announced that milestone had been pushed back to early in 2024. Last week, though, there was another revision to this timetable. Nexus are now saying they hope to have the first train carrying passengers by the end of 2024. Meanwhile, the old trains are failing more and more regularly, and the system's reliability, along with passengers' fraying patience, seems to have reached an all-time low. So, what on earth is going on with the Metro? Let's talk about it. The situation right now is, frankly, dire. In December 2023, only 61% of trains arrived on time, which is a historic rock bottom for reliability. Old Metro cars have been taken out of service to be stripped for spare parts to keep others limping on. Others have been sent straight for scrap. The timetable is greatly reduced, and delays and cancellations seem a daily occurrence. Passengers just can't rely on the Metro at the moment. All this to say, the new trains are sorely needed as soon as possible. So why have they been delayed again? At the time of this video, I believe that around 5 out of the 46 trains have been delivered to Tyneside from the Stadler factory in Switzerland. At least some of them have undergone various forms of dynamic testing and night runs on the network itself as early as May 2023. In January, the rebuilt depot at South Gosforth was finally completed, which hopefully means more trains can be accepted in due course. And here's the thing, it's all in the testing. These trains have been built to a fully bespoke design for the Metro network, which has plenty of its own unique quirks to navigate. Nexus and Stadler need to make 100% sure that these trains will function as they need to, especially while they'll be sharing the tracks with the previous generation Metro cars and mainline trains alike. And so the process for ensuring this naturally has to be rigorous. It's no good bringing the trains into service only to then discover some kind of flaw. And that's where comparisons come in useful. I don't want to downplay the frustration people are rightly feeling, but the timelines for these things do take a lot of time. Take the new Glasgow subway trains, for example, also built by Stadler, which we can use as a more extreme case. The first train was delivered in May 2019. Due to ongoing modernisation work, the first test run on the system itself didn't take place until December 2021, over 2 years later, and major issues were identified at that point. The first train only recently entered full passenger service in December 2023. That's 4.5 years from delivery to first running. Also in Scotland, the entry of the Hitachi Class 385 mainline ScotRail trains was delayed by an extra 9 months up to July 2018 after problems were found with the windscreens and electrical systems. That's 2 years from delivery of the first train to full running. And note, those trains were mainly constructed in the UK itself, in County Durham. And since I, among many others, have compared the new Metro trains to the Merseyrail Class 777s, it's worth noting that the first of those trains was delivered to the network in 2020, December 2020, and though the class was authorised for passenger service by the Office of Rail and Road in mid-2021, the first didn't enter passenger service until January 2023, which again is basically 2 years following delivery. And it's worth noting that many so-called teething issues still plagued these trains during their first year of service. So considering these comparable cases, it really looks like the planned timetable for implementing the Tyne and Wear Metro 555s was optimistic, to say the least. Less than a year to get the first into service was a welcome goal, but may never have been particularly realistic. Nexus has identified the train's traction systems as the cause of the delay, requiring extensive further testing at the very least. As was pointed out here by Dan Clark on Twitter, The trains are equipped with an unconventional traction system that has not been used before on such trains. The opinion that we've all seen expressed quite often is that these problems wouldn't be happening if Nexus had chosen Hitachi as manufacturer, and therefore allowed the trains to be built locally. But in my opinion, this probably wouldn't have sped things up all that much, due to the supply chain and testing requirements remaining the major obstacles. And Hitachi are notably much less experienced in creating metro train products. There's something to be said, I think, for having Stadler's expertise and presence across Liverpool, Tyne and Wear and Glasgow. So, to wrap this up, the frustration really comes from the increasingly common failures in the old trains, proving that the procurement of replacement trains was just left too late, which is down to the national government not releasing funding sooner, combined with the operator over-promising on the length of the timeline. The Class 555s are bespoke for the network and are likely to be great trains, and believe it or not, they're still really on track to start service within a normal timeframe in railway terms. But the fresh delay bites hard, and for the time being, I'm afraid to say that passengers are going to be the ones who suffer. If you'd like to keep up to date with everything to do with the Metro, especially leading up to the introduction of the 555s, consider subscribing so you don't miss any videos. Thanks for watching.